Welcome back to Retro Tech Toys. What you're looking at right now is my project table absolutely full of future YouTube videos. But I can only pick one of these things right now. And I think I'm going to choose this. And I'll show you what's up with this in just a minute. So let's get started. Alright, we are back. Today we're going to look at this old computer that I've got sitting around. This is probably from 2012. It's an i3, and it doesn't have a whole lot going on. A very minimalist case. It's a mini ITX board. We've got some USB ports and such on the back, some USB ports on the front. We have this subpar fan, and it's going to do the job just fine. I didn't have any RAM or hard drive, so I'm using my own. We're not going to use 4 gigabytes of RAM. We're going to use 8 gigabytes of RAM. And this is Hynix DDR3 laptop RAM. And that's what we're going to put in here. And I'll be surprised if it actually accepts it. Now, I got this computer for $5 at a flea market. I saw a guy sitting there with his stuff on the table. And he had some expensive stuff that I didn't want. And I picked up this and a 2008 Mac Mini, and I was like, so how much is it? And he was like, $5. So I grabbed both. And this has been sitting around for a while, so we're going to go ahead and finally get to this. What I want to do is make a $5 gaming PC. Can we do it? Is it possible? I think it's possible. Anything's possible if you're brave enough. So we've got enough here to get started. Here's the case that it came with. I had to scratch some of the labels and stuff off that were already on there. I don't really care. It is what it is. I might change the case out later, but for now we'll keep it. It has no screws or anything to hold it in place. It doesn't matter. Even though it's got pretty good venting, I'll imagine that it gets really hot in there because that fan is horrendous and everything is just packed right in there. That's okay. For now, it's fine. Like I said, I will change this case out later. But for our purposes today, it will do. So let's get ready to start this thing. We're going to put a hard drive in it. We're going to put RAM in it. We're going to install Windows 10, 64-bit, Windows 10 Pro. And I think it can handle it. So we're going to try that out. I've got a USB stick to install that with. And we're just going to see what happens. One thing I would like to add is that the guy I bought this from said that it came from a gas station. It was decommissioned. It was like an old cash register computer, so it's gotten heavy usage. But that's all right. Let's do this thing, and we'll see what we come out with. All right, well, first things first, let's get the RAM in there. And there we go. That was the easiest installation ever. Next, we need to do the hard drive, and there's no bracket, as you can see. Just the fan and all the components exposed and the cables, but that's okay. I think we can get the hard drive in there. No bracket, but we're just going to cram it in there. And this is a $5 gaming machine and a free hard drive and free RAM. So do we really, really care about cable maintenance or even component maintenance? I mean, I don't. And this is a crucial 275 gigabyte hard drive. I have several of these laying around. I've had them for quite a while, and I think it'll do just fine in here for our purposes. All right, the hard drive's installed, so now we have to get the top cover for this case back on. And like I said, we don't have any screws, and I don't care. So abracadabra, boom, it's back together. All right, now I want to do something here. I want to show you all the ports and such that this thing has. We have a power button, like I said, and 2 USB ports on the front. I believe those are USB 2.0, and if you turn it around, we've got some stuff back here. We've got the power, we've got USB 3.0, some other USB stuff, an Ethernet port, HDMI, and a DVI. We have audio ports, and really not much else going on back here. So it's enough, though. It'll get us by, and I think we have more than enough peripherals to hook up to make our gaming machine work out. Let's get this thing turned on and hooked up and see if it actually works. All right, everybody, we're back, and we have our 3D printed monitor stand. We have a cheap little monitor here to use this thing with. I got a free crappy USB keyboard and a free crappy wired gaming mouse. And as usual, our cat and mouse pad. Alright, I got this thing plugged in with an old Dell power supply. And can I show you guys what happens when you buy cheap USB adapter things? Look at this. All I did was try to plug this in. Look at this. Hold on, let me fix the focus. Look at this thing. It's supposed to be made by Duracell and it fell apart when I tried to plug it in. Look at this. Look at this, it fell right apart. Oh my god, we cannot use that. Alright. Alright, so as I said, we've got your crappy keyboard here. We've got a pretty decent monitor. We've got 3D printed monitor stand. The $5 computer. So let's see if this thing turns on. Oh, I heard a noise. There we go. We're in business. Let's see if this thing actually goes to the Windows setup utility. And would you look at that, it did. I decreased the brightness on the video so we could see the monitor better. So everything turns on. I'm pretty excited. I'm going to try to get Windows set up on this thing. It looks like it's stuck right here right now. Let's see. Hey, yeah, we do have RGB. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? All right, everything seems to be working. Let's get into the Windows setup and see what happens. We're going to run 64-bit Windows 10 Pro on this thing because I can. Let's just go ahead and delete this whole hard drive, all the partitions, everything, and we will start over. I am sorry for the flicker that's present on this monitor. I did what I could to adjust for it, and it's just not having it. Okay, we're copying the Windows settings over, so I'm going to go while this installs, and I'll be back when it's done. Alright, again, sorry for the flicker. That's all I can get it to do. And now it's time for Microsoft Edge to realize its sole purpose, which is to install Google Chrome. There you go, buddy. That's where you belong. Okay, we're back, and I know you can hear that fan. We're not even doing anything, and that fan is wound up. And so here's our gaming PC. We're good to go. Listen to that thing go crazy. So we have an Xbox controller, we've got our keyboard, we have our gaming mouse, and just to prove it's a gaming mouse, it says it right there. So we are good to go. Let's see what we've got here. Let's check the about this PC. Alright, so we have an Intel Core i3-2120 CPU that runs at 3.3 gigahertz. We have 8 gigabytes of RAM. We have Windows 10 Pro, and that's version 2004. What can we do with a gaming PC that is $5? And is it really a gaming PC? Well, I mean, we're not going to install Steam. I mean, that's crazy. You could install emulators, you can run all the old stuff, but we've done that 1,000 times, and you know how it works. You can install RetroArch, you can install whatever you want. You can probably run Dreamcast, PlayStation 1, all the way back to Commodore 64, but we're not going to do that. The good thing is you don't have to have crazy specs to play games these days. You can get this $5 PC or something similar, and you can use things like GeForce Now and Stadia. And you hear that fan revving up, so even though we're not doing anything but using internet bandwidth to play, let's see kind of what happens when we play a couple of games. For example, in GeForce Now. Let's play a nice game of No Man's Sky. And again, just to reiterate, I have the brightness turned way down so that you can see the monitor properly. Yeah, I'm sure the Ethernet adapter on this thing is crap, and the cable that I have hooked up to it is mega long, and it's not a very expensive cable. And just so you know, not that it matters, because we're not running anything on the computer right now, we're just streaming. So it's got Intel HD graphics. So that's basically integrated graphics. It shares RAM with the 8 gigabytes of RAM that we have installed. It's a little jittery. That's to be expected. I have a 300 megabit internet connection here, but like I said, this is an old PC with an old Ethernet adapter. It was used heavily. Alright, now that it's had a chance to do its thing to buffer a little bit, it's actually running okay. And there we are. We got some 1080p gaming, No Man's Sky with all the latest updates. It's a little jittery, but I think it's perfectly playable. And yeah, you could do this with basically almost, anything. But if you're poor and you find a $5 machine somewhere at a flea market, you can use it for file sharing, you can stream games on it. And, people might even think, hey, this wouldn't be very good to stream games on anyway because it's so old. But, it's fine. It's going to heat up a little bit. It needs some better cooling. But whatever, it's fine. Anyway, let's shift gears and check out Google Stadia. Rather than being installed on an app on Windows and then streaming through that app, which takes up some resources, this is just directly through the Chrome browser. So let's play some Assassin's Creed. Well, the first thing that I notice here is, despite the fan going insane, Stadia is actually working a lot better than GeForce Now. The thing is that GeForce Now is an app that's on the computer itself, and then it streams. So, that app is going to be taking up a couple of resources, but with Stadia, the only resource that's being used is the browser. Yeah, I know Chrome takes up a decent amount of resources, but I believe an i3 with 8 gigs of RAM can handle that. Like I said, it's running a lot better, and it's in 1080p, it looks gorgeous. I saw it stutter one time. Otherwise, it's running at full speed. It's not glitchy. It looks great. All right, let's go ahead and install a thing or two on the actual hard drive, and we'll see how it runs. We're about to try to play Astroneer. As you can hear, this fan went insane, and I'm not going to edit this out because I want you to hear it. The hard drive light is blinking, so I know it's doing its job. I know it's loading the game, and the fan just spun down. Him's thinking about it. Starting now, I'm going to go ahead and edit the sound so that you don't have to hear the fan anymore. And I'm going to skip forward until the game loads, if it ever does. So, Astroneer would not load. I pulled it up, it would crash. I pulled it up again, and it crashed. So, that's basically not going to happen. We're not going to be able to play anything modern on this, really. If you want to play games that were probably released in 2008 and before, depending on the specs required, maybe. But pretty much you're going to be using this for emulation. You can use it for streaming video. You can use it for file sharing. You can use it for general use like word processing, and YouTube watching would be fine. And streaming games will work if you want to play something modern like Assassin's Creed or anything like that. As long as it's available in something like Stadia or GeForce Now, you can do that. If you want to play on a bigger monitor, instead of your smartphone, that's always a possibility. You can do that. You can also install Linux on these, and that might help it out a little bit, stretch its lifespan out for a couple more years. All in all, it runs Windows 10 really well. Just don't expect a game with it. So is a 9-year-old i3 that was heavily used in a gas station, is that a gaming PC? Absolutely not. If you want to play old games like Dreamcast and PlayStation and Nintendo 64, then sure. If you want to stream games through your browser, absolutely, you can do that. Then it kind of does become a gaming PC because, we're using the cloud. We're not using its resources. But you can't really expect much from integrated graphics and an old worn-out CPU and an old worn-out motherboard that's probably sitting in a closet or somewhere like that for years and running hot. But, it does its job, and it's okay, especially for $5. So that's all I have for today. Check us out on Twitter and check us out on Patreon. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. That really helps. And thank you so much for watching Retro Tech Toys. Have more videos coming soon, and we'll see you next time.